Yo, what's up, folks? Welcome to 3P. We're poetry on the patio with Pleiades. Y'all know how it is. We out here, party people, please be and my mamas. And it is 7 p.m. So we got 30 minutes here. We're gonna do 10-minute increments like we always do. In an hour, I got a phone call with my friend. Well, they got off work at that point. Morgo, if you're watching this, we're about to call. It is July something. July 12th? No, July 16th. July 12th was the last day I used this watch. But I'm going to be in Houston soon. Let's get started, folks. We got pineapple coconut nectar humex. Fruta de mi tierra. Necesito. I need to tell y'all. Necesito decirte. No sé cómo hablar en inglés. En español. Los dos. Anyway, this is delicious. This is delicious stuff. I get it for like $1 at Walmart. I don't know if y'all have ever tried this flavor before. Like, I have to find it in Elgin, Texas. No, sorry, I meant Manor, but I think you can find it in Elgin too. We're gonna be sipping on that because that's the only new drink I have. Anyway, let's get it. Let's get it going. Let's get it started. So, we're on episode 7. This is going to be posted on July 21st, 2025, and we're going to call this the Summer Dive, okay? So, this is the Midsummer Reflections that we talked about last week, and wow, are there Midsummer Reflections to have? So, I'm trying to look through everything real quick, and yeah, I guess I have to tell y'all the truth. What has been going on this summer? So I guess you can say summer definitely starts like June 21st. And I prioritized dating this summer, which was interesting to me. It was fun. People are so crazy. Like, some people communicate in the strangest ways. Like, they tell you a lie to make you feel better or to do the right thing so someone else feels better. That has been strange through dating. I learned more about myself through dating than I learned about anything, and that's a reason that I like it so much because I get to talk to all of these random people and learn about myself through them. Sorry, I just noticed this one plant that my mother has that I also have growing, and I'm keeping it in like a micro container that's growing flowers, and I did not know that it flowered. And oh my god, do I need to take care of it better? You know, you process things in in the daily, but daily. I take care of 40 plants right now because of some midsummer reflections, and I know how to swim, so this summer has been quite potent for me. It has been quite a good summer, if I may say so myself. And my birthday is coming up. So yeah, it's the middle of summer. What can I say? What more can I say? I have a new friend that I love hanging out with, Joaquina. They've been my friend since I actually started the podcast. And yeah, I started the podcast this summer. That's another thing. Seasons and their changes. 1 month can change your life. Yeah, isn't that what we just talked about? Like, all of this stuff with dating, yada yada yada. Joaquin and I have been watching 12 Monkeys, and in that show, it's so interesting to see how like people change. I also have been watching Yellow Jackets, and like people change really quickly, and that's just the case of like life in general. I'm like looking at my belly because I got like what people call like a bee belly. It doesn't matter. People are beautiful. I'm beautiful because I exist. Okay, I have to say that for myself. Anyway, um, yeah, I think we don't accept change enough in this lifetime. I am constantly changing. I'm different from like yesterday. I'm different from 2 weeks ago, wildly. And a month ago, I can't even begin to describe how I was feeling, on June 16th last month. Like, I did not know how my podcast was going to go. I did not know if I would have the momentum. And, like, now in this month of expecting an interview to get done. Like, I am just one person, and I do want the interview to get done soon, and hopefully I can still get it done by the 11th. Pero I've had some difficulties with timing. I'm just one person, you know. There's so much you can do when you're communicating, only so much. Yeah, I wanted to mention that interview thing because I don't think I would touch on it otherwise. It's not really a priority, I guess, now. Mostly the priority is just to continue podcasting. So I wanted to talk about art that raised me and art that I'm raising finally. So there's a lot of art that raised me. Like, I think I've told you all about my ex. His name is Vladimir. I'm finally opening up. He's been watching the podcast. I thought so. Like, you know, he's not been watching it. Like, I told him about the podcast and then he started to watch it. So he could continue to be watching it. I don't know. That's just more information for me that I wanted to share on the podcast. Hello, Vlad, if you're here. Um, he knows what kind of person I am. Most of y'all know what kind of person I am, so I'm not really worried. But he had a podcast, and, you know, it wasn't like his goal or something that he really wanted or loved to do, but his cousin did, and I've always wanted to do a podcast. So yeah, getting to do this by myself has been pretty nice, actually. I'm getting to be consistent, and like, yeah, I wanted to talk about that because that's where I got a lot of my podcast um, understanding and experience from, and I'm very grateful because his cousin works for the Story Hive. Sorry, I just had to check if this mic is still on. Is this thing on? So yeah, his cousin works for the Story Hive in Houston, or works as the Story Hive. I don't even really know. Has the warehouse, and it's huge. So it was like a very professional experience. That was something that I really cherish in my lifetime. Also, I I'm trying to think in my mind. I'm so lucky. When I was 7 years old, my kindergarten teacher uh made us mimic like Van Gogh and Picasso and do all of these different things. Like, we did ceramics. I don't know how we did so much in my kindergarten year. Maybe it was just like my first 4 years being in Indiana, and then my four years of being in grade school in Indiana. And they probably just gave a lot more money into funding that because the students don't have money funding anywhere else, or the money that they do have funding, like, they were able to use the money wisely, I guess, and keep things good. I can't believe that an elementary school had a kiln. Like, I don't know how many elementary schools in Indiana had a kiln, and I kind of want to check on that. But yeah, that's like a huge thing. Like, I'm getting to raise this art. Like, Joaquina's mother is thinking about putting the kiln in their place. And so then Joaquina offered to have me also create some items with them. And that is just incredibly thoughtful, generous, genuine. What a friend. I don't even know where to begin. If I get to do that, the things that I get to create for the community, I'm just so prepared. I'm so ready. I'm so excited. Oh my god. Okay, how long I've wanted to be a writer and why. I've been wanting to be a writer my entire life. The fact that I need to finish this book, I need to put it out there. I'm so close. Um, Now that I'm saying it on the podcast, and now that the podcast has a rhythm going, like, I can even prepare the next week's podcast now that I know that the interviews are going to be a little bit behind. And that's okay. Everything's aligning exactly how it's meant to. So yeah, I've been wanting to be a writer my entire life. So I would like read and read and read. And now I want to be a writer in Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian, Russian, Bangla, you name it. I want to translate my books into other books. I want them to be readable in various texts, and I want them to make sense how I want them to make sense. So I have time. I'm 24. I'm learning these languages. I'm so grateful to be me. That's how long I've wanted to be a writer, and that's why, you know? And how long have I wanted to host a podcast, and why? So again, I told you guys about my ex, and we broke up about 8 months ago now, maybe longer. I don't know. I think 8 months ago because it's July. And his cousin and him have been talking about starting a podcast, like, even before we had gotten together, or maybe a little bit after we had gotten together. Um, but all I know is that, you know, I've been hearing them talk about the podcast, and I'd seen other friends have podcasts, and I'd seen other podcasters that went from small to huge so quickly. I'm trying to think of a word. It's not coming off my tongue, but it's okay. I'm just gonna take a sip of this. Exponentially, like a shooting star. I don't know. Cosmically, energetically. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I saw them all experience something crazy throughout childhood, and ever since I heard the word podcasts, I was like, wait, I want one. Um, Okay, it's been 10 minutes. And why do I want to start a podcast? I feel like I've got good thoughts. And everyone tells me that, like, as I've been doing this, I look more experienced and, like, more comfortable in front of the camera. And I love that. I mean, I definitely do feel way more comfortable in front of the camera now. Like, I feel like I'm talking to someone and the someone is my phone. And also, like, I had to troubleshoot so many things. So, yeah, why did I want to start a podcast also is because I wanted to experience and experiment and I wanted to do different things. And yeah, it's been 10 minutes, so we have to take a little break or else I'm going to go crazy because if I lose footage, oh, sorry, there's a wasp. It's gone. God. Oh. Okay, I'm fine. It's time to take a break. All right, folks. You know what time it is? It's time for the next 20 minutes and it's 7:15. So let's get it. Or whatever. Or whatever. So now let's talk about how long I oh wait. Talk about the first episode to now. I'm like, what the hell am I talking about? No, not about that. That makes sense to me. But okay, so how do I want to talk about that? The heck? um I guess what I'm going to start with is that, I've been able to solidify a lot of thoughts because of the podcast, which is really nice. Like, if you want to learn more about yourself, like, then why don't you just talk to a camera? Like, you're allowed to do whatever you want. I still want to mention, like, people have been so randomly mean about the podcast. Like, that does not matter. We focus on positivity and uplifting others here, but it's just so strange. Like, when someone sees positivity and uplifting, they have to be like, why are you doing that? What the heck is wrong with you? Why are you talking to yourself? Why do you and everyone have a podcast? Sorry, I just became like someone else because that's who brought their energy into my life. I rebuke that. Move on from it. Okay, so the things that I solidified were through starting my podcast, I have been having more community connections. Yes, I have been having a difficult time figuring out who to interview and how to interview them and when. But like sometimes plans fall apart and that's okay. And like I have a bunch of friends that I've asked, like, oh, do you want to be a part of the podcast? But then there's like a next conversation of, oh, do you want to come to Houston or Austin? Like, how are we going to do this? Where are we going to do this? San Antonio? I don't know. There's going to be a lot of positions available for this. And yeah, because of my community connections and learning through others and myself and people listening to my podcast and talking about my podcast to me, I know that like if I ever came into a lot of money, I want to buy multiple houses all over America, but specifically in cities that don't have good water infrastructure, and I want it to be a safe space for free water. And that is another part about like how I've changed from the first episode to now, because like I've always had ideas of like what I would want to do if I ever came into like a lot of money, or if what I would want on my best day. And like that is a good goal to have. I feel like it's just so pure, and like it makes me feel loving and loved. And yeah, that is something I really want to do. I also want to talk about how podcasting is low-key a dream come true. It's similar to journaling, voice notes, which I send to others and use myself like a journal, talking to friends with the interviews. It's been like therapy-esque. So I wanted to say all that because I am like getting to dig more deep into my own psyche, and I've been getting a lot of energetic downloads, so I know I'm doing something right and that this podcast was a part of my life because for some reason I live in the era of podcasts. So here I am on episode 7 of my own, right? And keep that in mind. Like I'm on episode 7, like I haven't stopped. I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna get in the double digits soon. That's crazy. We're gonna get into the triple digits one day. That's crazy because years are gonna pass by, and then you're gonna have 2 years pass by, and you're gonna have 104 weeks, 104 episodes every single Monday. All me, my own, myself. That's a dream come true for me. Do you see how I'm acting? Like, I've been more and more me these days, and I don't even care who's listening in these neighborhoods because they know every Monday an episode comes out and this bitch has to record. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on YouTube, to be honest, but we have time. We'll have time to figure this out. We will continue to troubleshoot. And like obviously I feel like you can see that I'm a lot happier and I'm like a lot more myself these days. Even when it comes to bugs. Like I just want them away from me. I just don't want to touch. They're gross. Germs. Ugh. I'm not that much of a germaphobe, but apparently I am. So continuing on. Oh yeah, and I wanted to talk about how like sending voice notes to friends and catching up with them like is really cool. Like so I feel like in a way I'm getting to catch y'all up on my life and y'all are getting a taste of like who I am, and I feel like way more known these days. Like I used to feel like such a stranger in my own life and everyone's life, and now I feel known and I feel loved. I love that. I wanted to talk about recording calls on the iPhone. Why can you do that? But I also like that you can do that, but like also like voice notes and like voicemail like should be enough. I don't know, but like a couple of days before me and my ex broke up, we had a phone call. Well, we always called like every single day, but um because we're also long distance, so that didn't help. Um God. Sorry, relationships are so hard. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. Okay. So I recorded a call with him because I wanted to remember his voice. And I do have voice messages from him. And I could have had voice messages from other previous partners, but like he actually did care for me and love me. So I wanted to honor that, even though I knew things were gonna end. I didn't know when they were gonna end. The day that they ended just kind of happened. Um, Also, if he's watching this, if Lad's watching this, I'm sure you're okay with me being honest because it's just me being me. You've never had a problem with it before. Sorry, this becomes personal. And I wanted to ask, what does this mean about me that I recorded that call? It wasn't the whole call. The Apple, the iWatch, the iPhone, this company tells you when someone's recording you. So he knew. Anyway, my 25th birthday is in one whole month. Right now, no. Right now it's in a month. Why are these bugs in my face? They want to live in my hair. They want to be in my home. They want to get in my crown. Anyway, I keep wanting to like those are like gnats, like fungus gnats. I hate them. Um, During the like 10 minutes that I've been in recording, I keep wanting to keep going and push myself and be like, oh well, I got this. Like I trust my camera, I trust my mic, and even though I may trust all of these things because I charged it or I turn it off in between breaks or whatnot, better safe than sorry. Work smarter, not harder. And that's just where I'm at right now. Okay, so my 25th birthday is in one whole month. That is awesome. Like, I'm about to be a quarter of a decade year old. Decade? What am I talking about? I'm 2.5. A quarter of a century year old. That's crazy work. My great grandfather's birthday is actually today, the 16th. I'm talking about a month from the 21st is when I turned 25. But yeah, his birthday was today, and he passed 13 years ago. 13 years ago in like a month. Um, he's with me every single day. He's with me right now. Maybe he's the one behind the camera. I don't know. Maybe he's sitting with me. I don't know. I'm not tuned in right now, but he's always tuned in with me. I'm so thankful. He's always visiting people. Richard Filson, another one of my loves in life, late teacher, my favorite teacher. He visited me in a dream the other night. That was so beautiful. Um, Yeah, the last couple of things that I have to say are what is on next week's episode. So I'm just gonna take a breather, and yeah. Okay, let's do this last 10 minutes. My break went longer than anticipated. I take a sip of this. I was talking to my mother. It is 7:40. We have until 7:50. And then at 8, at our time, Houston, Austin, Chicago, anywhere in between that line and above and below it. Morgo's time, 6 p.m. My Morgo. My. Okay, July 28th. Oh, what the heck? Sorry. I'm like reading. Okay, so next week. So we already talked about how podcasting is low key a dream, and the first episode to now, and like certain things that I've gained, I guess, spiritually, mentally. But I want to talk about who I was, particularly in podcast one, and who I am now, and like I guess more so like the specifics in the podcasting realm, like not community wise, not spiritual or mental, right? Like there's two versions of myself, the podcasting version and then like the Pleiades version, right? So today's conversation was like the Pleiades version in a way, and next week's is the podcast Pleiades version, and then that's just like how I have developed podcasting, and then the birthday month, and then Vedic astrology, and then I want to talk more about how July was, and specific things that I did in July. And then after episode 8, episode 9 starts us into August. And we just have a couple more minutes here. I'm going to think about what to tell y'all. I think something I want to tell you is someone did some crazy work recently. Actually, a lot of people do crazy work with me. But uh, recently, been multiple instances of people who will be talking to me, and my intuition will know that I don't want to talk to them, but it will want to explore the conversation. So just exploring the conversation will be enough to encourage me, but sometimes that conversation will get into a blocking, or it will just phase out. But it's very interesting to me that there's these people that show that they have all of this energy towards me, or they have these feelings or wants with me, and they're trying to make it seem like this big grandiose thing. And it's like, wow, like you do want that, and I can see that, but you don't even know how to hold it, and you don't even know how to give it what it needs and feed those needs while it also has wants and desires. And I recognize that in them because I have recognized that in myself from my past. And that hurts. And maybe I had to see it in other people to witness it in myself. And a lot of these people are older than me, like 29, 27. And it's really strange. I mean, no crap to them. But particularly what is strange to me, and this is something different than people who are committed to understanding, people that are committed to misunderstanding tend to do this. And this really bothers me. If you're committed to understanding, you will present someone something, and they will see it exactly as that. And they'll be like, I made a mistake. Or maybe they won't even be able to admit they made a mistake, but at least they'll be able to move on with the proper information. And we can work with that. You know, there's some people in our families that you tell them, oh, X, Y, and Z thing is wrong. And they'll be like, no. And they'll get defensive about it. But then once they experience it, they practiced what you preach, but they don't preach what you practice. That sucks. So I've been listening to my intuition like a rebellious teenager. And my intuition is never wrong because there is an interwoven braiding of fate, faith, and trust when it comes to intuition. It's three parts of a whole, maybe even more parts, but those are the parts I strongly feel. And in in the realm of intuition, rebellious intuition, and just strictly, respectfully knowing, stubbornly knowing what I'm meant for and what I have to follow because I've seen life do wild things for me before. When people are like, your intuition can be wrong, brother. If your intuition is wrong, that's not your intuition you're listening to. And people say, oh, don't worry. And sometimes I am worried. And I'll tell you, and sometimes I'm not. And then I'll say, I'm never worried. The duality of man. But when I say I'm never worried, I'm speaking a prayer and a spell into existence. It's a ritual. It's an attempt to name what exists and also fake it till you make it. And I have lost so many worries because I've embodied that. So I become more of this version that I'm trying to embody while also being honest. As long as we speak about it. There's always these like people trying to bother my little guys right here. Oh, I was wondering why they were so red. It's because they're overwatered. That's okay. That's good to know. But yeah, like when I am speaking on my intuition and then someone says, or sorry, my worries, and I say I'm never worried, and they're like, well, if you're worried in the future. I don't know if those two individuals watch my podcast. Honestly, I don't think that they do. I mean, I don't care. I honestly would not want them to anyway. But because like I mean, I'm talking about this right now, right? But also I don't really know. I don't know where I'm meeting people in life, and I'm kind of just going at it like I'm meeting the highest version of myself, the best version of myself. So yeah, people could be in wildly different places than me. Oh, so see, we're learning now. The other one is getting overwatered while this one is getting underwatered. I can remember that. I need to water you more, girl. Cordyline. Anyway, um, yeah, I just can't believe that someone would be like, in case you're worried for the future, when I just said I'm never worried. Don't speak that worry on me. Do not put that worry on me. I will hold my worries bravely. Anyway, we're gonna leave it off there. That's all. That's all, folks. Thank you for sitting with me on Poetry on the Patio with Pleiades, episode number 7. And with that, you know what I'm gonna say here, folks. Take care of yourselves. Love yourselves. All you party people, please be in the mamas. Brush your teeth, eat healthy, have a vegetable, read a book, do something that you love, start a podcast, hug your friends, go outside, touch some grass. Be brilliant, be kind, be smart, work smarter, not harder, folks.